The Rise of Skywalker took us on a journey that saw Sidious close to returning to power with his secretive Sith fleet and final order. However, this unfortunately ended with the total destruction of his fleet and eventual death. However, being a pessimist, I decided to rethink the entire Battle of Exegol and create this video, which covers how I believe this battle would have actually turned out. And spoiler alert, it's not great for the Resistance. Now, the Resistance's plan is to destroy the navigation beacon and, in turn, trap the Sith fleet on Exegol's orbit where they can be destroyed, and so they can't go and destroy planets. They will do this by targeting the axial super laser connected to each ship. The laser is a planet-killing weapon, however it is connected to the ship's power supply, and when damaged can essentially cause the entire vessel to explode. Now, this plan seems pretty simple, I mean almost as convenient as the Death Star having that exhaust port. The Resistance runs into trouble when they realise they're incredibly outnumbered and the navigation beacon is now being transmitted from the ship itself as a last-minute change of plan. However, Lando's fleet of volunteer ships turns up and essentially the day is won. Unfortunately, this is almost definitely not how it would have gone. Firstly, the rebels weren't just a bit outnumbered, they were completely outmatched. Each Star Destroyer can hold approximately 72 TIE fighters, and there was hundreds of Star Destroyers present, meaning that there must have been tens of thousands of starfighters combined with the gunnery crews of each vessel. And there's no way Poe's squadrons would have come anywhere near to this in numbers. There doesn't appear to be, at best, even 100 ships at the beginning of the battle. So even if the Star Destroyers couldn't fire directly at them at risk of hitting their own ships, the TIE fighters alone would have probably destroyed Poe's initial attack force. We also need to consider here the use of shield, which apparently just didn't play a role in the Battle of Exegol at all. This make of Star Destroyer was equipped with 2 dome deflector shield generators, and these shields can take a huge amount of damage, even from capital ship cannons. So we need to understand that actually hitting those heavy cannons on the bottom is going to be hard, because you need to fly incredibly close to actually bypass the shield, all the time trying to avoid being destroyed by the TIE fighters. Now, secondly, we have the navigation beacon, which was transmitted to the Steadfast ship. However, this makes very little sense. Resistance members aren't equipped to be high in the air, and they would have probably struggled to breathe when Finn's party went and boarded the ship. Not only this, but the Final Order used ground troops to fight them, as opposed to, say, jet troopers, which we know they had. And they're literally perfect for this sort of conflict. However, all of this is moot when you consider surely the signal can just be jumped to a different ship. General Pride ordered the signal be sent to his ship from the tower, and it was done in a heartbeat. Surely this means that the signal can be sent from place to place pretty easy and transmitted from a ship. So when the Steadfast was eventually destroyed by Finn's ground assault on it, surely the signal could have just been sent to one of the other various Star Destroyers, or back to the pylon on the ground, and it wouldn't have been stopped at all. Finally, we have Lando's fleet, which was made up of volunteer ships all around the galaxy, not warships, just people, as they said. Now, the issue that I have with this is how many of those ships are realistically in fighting state? Military-grade ships were hard to come by, and that's why the Rebels and the Resistance struggle so much. Sure, it may have had some cannons to ward off pirates on a lot of these different ships, but a squadron of TIE fighters? No way. Not to mention the heavy cannons on a Star Destroyer? Realistically, their shielding is not going to be able to protect them from this late military-grade tech. And finally, they're not going to be able to puncture through the Imperial shields in the first place. You're essentially fighting speedboats against a battleship. You're not going to do anything. Realistically, in my opinion, what would have happened in this situation, even if the Steadfast was destroyed, the signal would just be transmitted somewhere else, and the ships would be fine to move. This would allow them to reposition into battle positions where they could set themselves up to use their heavy cannons without risking hitting one another, where they would eventually just completely wipe out the entirety of the Resistance's ships. And that entire fleet Lando brought would just be caught in the firing line and wiped out by heavy cannons. And even if this wasn't possible, the Resistance's ability to destroy all these ships is just simply put very low due to shielding and protection from fighter craft. At the end of the day, it would have been a massacre for the Resistance, and the Galaxy fleet. They would have been torn apart by the sheer size of the Imperial's battleships. And sure, you may take down a few Star Destroyers. However, a fully shielded Star Destroyer is just incredibly dangerous, and your ability to take out hundreds of them is just not going to happen. But what do you guys think? Could the Resistance have realistically won Exegol? Or would it have been an Imperial massacre? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, please remember to like, share and sub, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLawGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. But most importantly, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.